my old one. I didn't switch over.
I'll grab whichever one.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 6:32. Roll call. Everybody is present. Attest to publication.
I saw it posted.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. District mission, vision, and values. Kelly?
Yes. Mission, Bangor Pride, a small school building big futures. Vision, an innovative small school creating excellence through personalized learning and relationships for all. Values, student-centered safety, opportunities for all, small class sizes, fiscally sustainable, foster community, continuous improvement, professionalism. And our collective commitments. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from December 18th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 18th.
Second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Joni needs to abstain.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Joni. Student report. Well, guess who's here?
Oh, okay, here we go. Previously, the middle school girls basketball started. We had Christmas break, so not a lot of things happened previously. The girls hosted a holiday tournament here. We beat Shalsburg and Stratford. Stratford was undefeated, and Shalsburg had lost one game before that. The boys, the same exact days, traveled to the Dells for their holiday tournament, and they played Reedsburg and DeForest. The wrestling team, also those same days, had Bi-State at the Lacrosse Center. Coming up, finals we had today and Thursday. The second semester will start Tuesday. We have off school Monday for the professional development day for the teachers. We also, as student council, we sold root beer floats today, and we'll be selling them tomorrow too. It's kind of like a treat for finals. The boys and girls basketball teams are wrapping up their first rounds of conference play. We'll be playing Brookwood on Thursday, and that'll be our last game of the first round. The Booster Club fundraiser is February 8th. The juniors will be starting ACT prep Friday the 24th. There'll be 4 sessions among 4 weeks. PTO Get Moving Night is the 24th at the elementary. Odyssey of the Mind will be starting this month in middle school, high school, and then a couple in elementary. FCCLA will have their regional competition on February 7th. Conference wrestling meet will also be February 7th. The girls basketball team will be doing their annual bowling fundraiser Sunday, February 2nd at the Lanes, where they sell pork chops and all 50-50 and all that fun stuff. The high school pop concert will be at the Activity Center on February 10th. The middle school forensics will compete their level 1 competition at Wassail Middle School on February 10th. Also on February 10th, the high school forensics will do their sub-district competition at Hillsborough. I think I already said that. And lastly, on the 11th, the high school Battle of the Books will be at Richland Center, and this is the first year that the high school is doing Battle of the Books, so that'll be fun for everyone doing that. Also, I didn't put this, but obviously, if you look over, we have stuff in the school store now. I don't know actually when they're starting to sell that, but they did make the designs and all that fun stuff. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out on your busy schedule. Thank you. All right, we have a presentation, 2026 music trip to New York. Come on over.
I think when we do these every other year, it's good to have the music department come in and kind of talk a little bit about it. So looking for approval for this tonight. And
I agree, David. Thanks. So hi, I'm Ross Jones. I'm the band director. Paul Sattergasky is over there. He's the new choir teacher coming up across the lawn here. We're seeking proposal or approval, to take the high school band and choir students to New York in the spring of 2026. I have a bunch of tour proposals if you'd like to see them. Otherwise, things that we'd be doing there would be leaving Monday, April 14th. We'd be coming back on that Saturday, so that is the week leading up to Easter. So just to try to miss minimal days of school for those kids because we do have spring break in that time. So while we're there, we would get a chance to perform. The high school band will be performing on the deck of the USS Intrepid. I'm kind of looking forward to that, not going to lie. And the choir is going to be performing at St. John's the Divine, this gorgeous, gorgeous cathedral. Best acoustics in the state of New York, I'm told. While we're there, we're going to get some workshops in with a few Broadway performers. So it'll be vocal workshops. It'll be workshops for pit performers. It'll be workshops for what goes on backstage as backstage managers, that sort of thing goes. And then, of course, 9/11 Museum, that sort of thing. Dinner in Little Italy, again, something that I'm looking for. But so that's all we plan on doing, and then some on the trip. So I guess, do you have any questions for me?
They do have the whole itinerary in front of them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how long of a drive that is. I went to Nashville and to Chicago, but New York sounds like a really long drive.
22 hours on the bus. Last year we went to Orlando. That was 25.
Okay.
It went by so fast, I'll be honest with you. But this will be my third trip with the group, and we went to New Orleans my first year, or my first trip, I should say, and that was 18, and that felt long, and then 25 went by super fast. So who knows?
Oh, I think they're great. So.
Is this the same agency you used before?
No, this is a different travel agency. Previously, we went through Sunshine Travel. Now, Bob Rogers is a new group. We're going through them because they can get us such a good deal on the trip. I think the quoted was around $1,650 per student. Normally, that'd be closer to $2,000. So this is why we're going to New York through this company on this year, is because we can get such a good trip, and I don't know when we'll be able to do it again for that cost. So.
I think very comparable in cost to the last trip to Orlando. I think with Bob Rogers, there's the specific music touches with the working with the Broadway folks.
Yeah. Our trip to Orlando last year was $1,580, I want to say, per student. So this is very, very close to that. And we kept that number in mind just to keep things as affordable as possible.
The itinerary looks amazing, and I appreciate that they're going to have some workshops and learn some things from that part of our country. They'll learn a lot. Any other questions?
I would make a motion to approve the overnight field trip for high school band and high school choir students to New York City.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Shelley. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming. All right, board president's report, school board elections, Shelley South, Joni at large. Both will be running unopposed. Election is set up for April 8th. Is that
April
correct?
1st.
It's April 1st, I was going to say.
I'm fixing
Okay.
that right now. So it'll be right in the minutes.
Tuesday, April 1st. Any questions? Our March meeting, we would like to move. We've got some members that have some conflicts, and we also want David to go to one of our townships again. So I am entertaining that we move the March meeting from March 12th to March 19th.
I'll make a motion to move the March regular board meeting from March 12th to March 19th.
Second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lisa.
Joni?
Joni.
Oh, Joni, I'm sorry. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Do we foresee moving this at all more this year?
Any more meetings?
Yeah. Okay. I only asked because we've moved it 3 times now in less than 6 months, and if just asking.
All right, moving on to the policy committee. Joni, is that right?
Yes, we met on the 6th. It was Kelly, Lisa, and myself. Although we had all of the information on the proposed policy revisions in board docs in advance, so we were able to review them on our own time, come up with questions and concerns. We then met with David for about an hour and a half, and a lot of them, again, like usual, are just very minimal corrections or just bringing up to code, or we sent 2 or 3 of them back to Neola just for, with some content revisions that we felt was important, or just eliminating some dormant dates and things like that. But hopefully everybody reviewed the overview of them. Nothing too exciting.
Thank you, Joni. Financial documents.
I didn't receive any emails, or Angie didn't receive any emails, so if there's no questions on the financials, we'd look for approval.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. No district reports, district action agenda, adaptive sports league co-op agreement.
Yeah, I shared a little bit about this last month, that this would be coming. So the Adaptive Sports League has been something that's going on, that has been going on in West Salem for the past few school years. Works with students with disabilities, students with IEPs, 504s, students that might not always be able to participate in the WIAA sports. In the fall, they play soccer. In the winter, they play floor hockey. Right. Yep. And in the spring they play wiffle ball, and they travel and compete with other school districts in the area. They practice 2 nights a week. They play on those same 2 nights a week, and just a kind of a great opportunity for those kids. So we had asked if we could join, just like we have with the other co-ops. This is not WIAA sanctioned, but we did use a similar form to WIAA co-op agreement that you'll have later for all of the other WIAA sports in the agenda. But just trying to make sure that we can continue those partnerships with West Salem. So our intention is that our kids will be able to start participating during wiffle ball in the spring, and that we hope to have some of the folks from West Salem come over here during the winter season yet, talk to our kids, invite them to come to a practice, come check it out, and then get involved for the spring. So we know we have some kids that are interested, and we hope that we send even a few more. And we do have, I think I said last time, Michelle Harper is hoping to go with them and volunteer and work with them as well. So looking for approval of a great opportunity for some of our students here with the Adaptive Sports League Co-op.
And so it looks like in here that we would pay according to, if we have 5 kids participating, or if we have 25, it's just going to be as used.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the co-op with West Salem School District for the fall, winter, and spring adaptive sports league, starting with the spring season of 2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Lisa. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Policy updates.
So this is the policy updates from volume 33, number 2 that Joni just spoke about. We had some good conversations, pushed back on a couple and got those adjustments made based on our discussions as a PRC that night, and have those all in and updated. So remember, with the approval of updates, this is a one-time to the meeting, and these will then be changed in our policies. So looking for approval of those if there's no questions.
I would move to approve the policy updates from Neola Volume 33, Number 2, as reviewed by our committee, the PRC.
I'll second. Sorry.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. Any discussion or further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New policy, first reading.
So this was a policy that was brought to us as a new addition, and quite frankly, when we read it, this is something that Rick and I, with consultation of our attorney, have been doing over the past 2 or 3 years. It really just spells out in policy that process. So we were meeting all legal requirements with how we were handling these situations, but this just explains what would happen if we felt a student met the criteria to be expelled, some options that we could have to allow them to improve behavior and hopefully work their way back into the school. So the policy is just kind of explaining what that process looks like, and it matches pretty closely to what we have been doing successfully over the past few years. So looking for approval of the first reading of this. You read through it again before we do the final approval next month.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the new policy 5610.03 as reviewed by the PRC.
Second.
Jessica? Or was it Joni? Okay. I don't know. Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Joni. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, the next two items are the resolutions for the April referendum. And I think what's important to review here before we vote on these resolutions is since the November referendum that failed, we have made an effort to get to many of the town meetings, Lions Club meeting, the PTO meetings, music backers meetings, just try to solicit as much feedback as we can get from people, talking to folks. Even when I think I talked about it when we did the review of that 5-year review, we had some parents come in and help us through that process. We got feedback from them on that. With all of those, what we've heard probably more resounding than anything is that people were not comfortable with the recurring language of the November referendum, and that if we were to put it back to a 3-year non-recurring, as we've done in the past, there would be more comfort with that. I know Rick and Mike, I thank them, and attended the town of Bangor meeting, and all three of us for a few minutes, and then Rick and Mike for longer attended the Bangor Lions Club meeting and got some feedback. I mean, you guys want to share anything else that came out of those conversations on the communication or anything there? So.
Well, I guess one thing that we had talked about previously that I brought up was I talked about how we didn't send a mailer out because during the presidential election there was so much. But even though we had heard from the consultant a few years ago about certain demographics, my age and older, I guess, that prefer paper copies. So it was nice to get some feedback because there were some that said, yes, I would have just thrown it away. But then there was a couple that said, if I would have seen that it came from the school district, I would have read that. Mm-hmm. So I think what we heard there is we definitely need to do a mailer. I mean, I know it's not the same election cycle, but it was good to get that feedback. We heard exactly what David said if we go non-recurring, it seemed like people were on board with that. You know, one of the comments was there wasn't an itemized list of what it was for. And so it was nice because I could explain that it was for operational. So it's to maintain the programs at the level we're at, the staffing the level we're at. So it's not necessarily, this $900,000 will go towards X, Y, and Z. It's our daily operation. So it was nice to be able to get information out there because not everybody's aware, and school funding is kind of a maze, as most people know. So I thought it was very well received there. And Mike and I had planned on, 5 to 10 minutes, and then 3 hours later, made it home. So, but it was good. It was really good. we really got hounded to join. I think I have 2 pamphlets. So I said, how about in the future, which was a mistake because then they said, well, next month is the membership drive, come back. So, no, great group of people. Obviously, I know, we know a lot of those people on there, and they were very willing to give feedback, which was nice to hear that. Even if, there wasn't anything that was bad. And then we also talked about how we designed the kitchen over there with the foresight of the pancake breakfast and a spot for the mixer. And then we haven't had the electrical put in yet. We're waiting for that. And they're very, very appreciative. 2 or 3 comments where we just want to thank you so much for thinking of us when you did that, because there's so much that goes into it. So, but that just really goes to speak to me the connection that we are with the community and they are with us, that really it's all of ours, right? And so it wouldn't seem right if we wouldn't have done what we did. So anyway, it's great feedback, and I feel like we're headed in the right direction.
All right, so there are 2 resolutions here. One is putting it on the ballot, and the second is kind of setting that amount. They're very similar, but obviously when the attorneys tell us we should do 2, that's what we've got there in front of you. So if you'd read the resolutions as they're recommended in the action, that would put us in the right place. If there's any other questions or discussion, otherwise we'd look for those motions.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed revenue limit by $900,000 per year for 3 years for non-recurring purposes.
I'll second.
Motion by Lisa, seconded by Jessica. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution providing for a referendum election on the question of the approval of a resolution authorizing the school district budget to exceed revenue limit by $900,000 per year for 3 years for non-recurring purposes.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly. Any further questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. David, you can continue.
Thank you. I think those 2 items addressed and responded to the feedback that we got following the November referendum, setting that as a non-recurring versus a recurring. I think the other feedback on communication is addressed in this next item. The Donovan Group is a well-known, well-respected group in the field of education that helps school districts making sure that they're communicating messages clearly and effectively in stressful times and in times of referendum, and in the great times too. They have teams that just work on positively promoting school districts. So I met with the Donovan Group and kind of talked through some options that we would have to have some support from here till April to make sure that our communications are everything that they need to be, so that we don't look back. So that we don't look back and wish that we would have done something different, or learn from another miscue there. So I'm asking. There's a full proposal from the Donovan Group with 3 different levels of support that they would provide us. I'm asking us to go with the communication plan 1, which will give us consultation throughout this process to review documents, to help create documents, help make sure that we have a good timeline for getting information out about the referendum. This service is a service not to exceed $6,000. With this, Brian from the Donovan Group will plan to be at our February meeting, and we will lay out kind of our strategy, our communication strategy and plan between that meeting and the end of the school year. Between now and April. So immediately you guys will see at our next meeting the work that's going into this. So I think, again, it's the second response to the feedback we've got on better communication and making sure that we're doing that effectively. And I think in the scheme of what would be lost if a $900,000 referendum fails this time, it's a strong investment into making sure that we get this right. So looking for approval to approve the consulting agreement with Donovan Group.
I'll make a motion to approve the consulting agreement with the Donovan Group for the referendum communication support at a cost not to exceed $6,000.
Second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Joni. Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Summer childcare agreement.
Yeah, I think I had shared this last month as well, just that I would be coming back with this. We've been meeting with Josie and Learning Wagons Adventures. Things are going incredibly well. I think Mike could speak to that as well. Things are just running very smoothly over there. They have had interest in and have enough kids that they believe they'll be able to run a summer program out of the facility. As we had talked about when we approved the initial lease agreement, it did not include summer, and I had said if it does include summer, there would be some additional costs for us to bring cleaning in regularly. So we looked at kind of a per day cost on what that would be, worked with Josie to make sure that this was a number that was reasonable for her, knowing that if we drove the price up too much, it's just driving the price up on our families, but yet there needs to be something for the district. So we kind of found a happy medium of $1,000 for the summer when school and summer school are not in session, and they will also be taking garbage out daily and doing the basic cleanup, making sure that it's ready for the next day. We'll be going through and doing a deeper clean 2 to 3 times a week instead of daily, so kind of finding that happy medium there. We've had great conversations. They've been a great partner for us, and I think it's an outstanding service for the community. So there are 3 places in that agreement that you'll see some red that has been added in. One little section that lined out that this does not include summer because now it does. So that is all spelled out in there. Very little changes, but basically reaffirming the lease that we had approved before the start of the school year.
We review this yearly.
We will review it yearly, yes. That's how we set it up initially. So this will carry us through the end of summer, and then we will look at it this summer to renew for next school year, or this spring to review for next school year.
What, may I ask what the dates are, like from the start time to the end time for it?
The times or the dates?
Dates, times.
Basically,
either or?
they will be there when school is not in session.
The entire time?
Yep.
Okay.
So there'll be a short period that happens before summer school happens.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be there and providing care after summer school. Okay. And hopefully those kids that are there for the day will participate in summer school in the morning. Mm-hmm. They'll get a little discounted rate on their childcare that day because the childcare staff will leave during summer school. And then, when summer school is over, they would be there full days again. So it provides coverage completely year-round for our families.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any days where it doesn't work, where you have things scheduled? Before we used to have if there was maintenance or things that were being done, that wouldn't interrupt any of that, right? I don't want them to assume that they have it and then something happens. So even when we register or we have picture day or anything like that, it should not disrupt their schedule.
I think we'll be able to work around 100% of that because we do have the alternative site of the art room that we can use if they needed to be out of the commons for a day, or, we don't have to wax that floor we used to have to do and those types of things. So it'll be a very different process. So we'll be able to just work with them collaboratively to keep cleaning.
It's just such a change from when you were under construction versus now you can actually have people in there. So
Absolutely.
Just wanted to ask.
All right. There's no further questions. Looking for approval of the child care lease that now includes summer programming.
I'll make a motion to approve the revised childcare lease with Learning Wagon Adventures to provide summer care when school or summer school are not in session.
I'll second.
Motion made by Kelly, seconded by Jessica. Any questions? Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. So music department transfer.
As we know, unfortunately, we lost Ryan Stumpkes, and we had his resignation at the last meeting. This is now moving Paul Sattergaski from the elementary school to the middle school, high school. There were definitely a lot of tears in this transition of elementary students. We keep telling them they'll get to see Mr. Sattergaski again, and that wasn't enough in the moment. But we're asking, we're going to have Paul come up to the middle school, high school, and he has got a great choir background, and I think will do an excellent job continuing to improve our vocal music department. So, Rick, I don't know if you have Rick or Mike have anything to add on that. Otherwise, looking for approval of that transfer.
I just want to say I'm, based on the situation, I'm extremely pleased to get Paul up here. Obviously, didn't want to lose Ryan, but Paul, I mean, you guys have seen most of you probably seen what he's done down there. He and I had some very good discussions about what it looks like up here. He's excited. He's nervous. He's been filling in a couple days this week. He'll come again tomorrow with the high school choir. But I think we did really well. You know, I've been around for a few different choir, interviews that we've had to do. And the pool is not really deep. So to get Paul is really, it's amazing for me up here personally, but then also the other candidate I know we'll talk about when we hire, but we did really well there. So I think it's a win-win all the way around. I know the kids at the elementary school maybe didn't want to see him go, which, like I said, they'll get them pretty soon. And Paul did tell me that he did eventually see himself at the level up here. And so I don't feel like that we had to push him. He was a willing participant. It was just some nerves in the middle of the year. So just not the greatest timing, but I'm happy to get him up here for sure.
Well, I think you guys all know what Paul's done at our building, and certainly there's a lot of, you never want to stand in front of any teacher's career goals and those types of things. So he's excited to come up here and do his thing. Obviously the kids that we have, and there were a lot of tears initially, but then they really did realize that he's just coming across the lawn, really. So I think overall, when you look at it from, I know David and Rick and I have always had the same goal of building the arts program here. And ultimately, whether it's youth sports, youth arts, youth whatever, you're trying to get that high school experience to be something that's really special. And I can only hope that Paul takes the same creativity and energy that he shared with the elementary kids and, can do that with the students that he already knows, so he can span the numbers in our choir here and create something that's beautiful and successful and all of those types of things. He like Rick said, this is not the ideal time to do any of this type of switch, but I think we definitely hit a home run on how it planned out or how it played out. So we'll talk more about that in a minute, I think.
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve the transfer of Paul Sattergaski from elementary music teacher to middle school, high school vocal music teacher effective January 20th, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Kelly. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Hire of a new elementary music teacher.
Yeah, we again got incredibly fortunate to have this Abby Sass apply for our position mid-year. She's finishing her high school experience at Logan High School in the band this week. Prior to that, she was at Eagle Bluff in Onalaska, actually student taught with the same teacher that Paul student taught with when Paul came through UW La Crosse as well. So we've had some conversations with her and spoke very highly of Abby. A very, I guess something has never happened in my career in 14 years of hiring folks. The university supervisor reached out to me after we had offered the position, letting us know that we hit a home run and that we were incredibly fortunate to have Abby, and that she can't wait to see what Abby's career develops into. So just an outstanding young music educator, and we are very excited to have her join our team. So looking for approval of Abby Sass as our elementary music teacher.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of elementary music teacher Abigail Sass as elementary music teacher effective January 20th, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Jessica. Any questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Resignation of an elementary special education teacher.
Now to the much less fun part of the agenda. Looking to approve the resignation of Tara Blount effective at the end of the 24-25 school year as she takes on another adventure within the community. But very much going to miss her services with our youngest special ed students at the elementary school.
If I can comment real quick, I mean, Tara is just an absolute professional, just an amazing educator. Somebody that took on a role that, we needed, and stuck and just has had a drastic impact, not only on our students, but then the collegialness of the staff that we have. And she's going to be greatly missed. Obviously, she's going in like David said, a new adventure and a new challenge, absolutely. And she's going to be missed. I just wanted to thank her for all of her services all the way through.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of elementary special education teacher Tara Blount effective at the end of the 24-25 school year.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Retirement second shift custodian.
Yeah, we've had Bruce Wagner here for a few years, and he has been wonderful. He was at the elementary school for a period of time and has been now this year at the middle school, high school in the evenings and helping with evening events and stuff. Just a great smile on his face and a positive attitude about life, great interactions with our staff, with the parents here at events and all of those types of things. He thinks he's going to keep himself plenty busy with a bunch of lawn care and helping out some folks, and I think he will as well. So he will be greatly missed, but he will be retiring effective June 4th. So looking for approval of that retirement.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of Bruce Wagner from his position as second shift custodian in the middle school effective June 4th, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Retirement of elementary special education teacher.
Jeanette Anderson will be leaving us after, I believe, 29 years in the district. Has been absolutely amazing. I have truly enjoyed working with her as part of the special ed team, and I know Josh and Mike probably both have some things to share about her, but an absolute true professional, and she has been a joy to work with, and looking forward to some true retirement. Has enjoyed what she's done, and will continue to serve well throughout the rest of the school year, but looking to retire at the end of the school year.
Yeah, working with Jeanette, but just an amazing educator. Her pathway to this point was a little different. She took a couple different avenues prior to getting into the classroom and then getting into the special education world in itself. But, just a solid employee, somebody you can count on every single day, the care that she provides for our students, and some students that really challenge. At the end of the day, she's just willing to lend a hand anywhere and literally do whatever's needed for the students, and she's always been that way. It's been a joy working with her, and I know she's got lots of plans now with some of her free time and that. So I look forward to what she shares with us along the way. But she's going to be missed greatly.
And I've worked with Jeanette ever since I've been here as well. So she's been a leader in the elementary school and a leader in the special education world for us, helping move students with disabilities more within the general education population as well, and really helping improve our students with disabilities. So, and I would echo what for Tara as well, being able to advocate for our students with disabilities and helping them move forward in their educational careers. So, it's going to be hard to replace.
I'm going to chime in as well because I started at the elementary school. She was a paraprofessional over there. As Mike said, she took a little bit different path, but she's just a wonderful human being. And you have to be a little bit adventurous. She was our driver's ed instructor for quite a while, and when you're out on the road with all the students. But yeah, so I've worked with her for a long time. And the other thing that I would say about Jeanette is just extremely professional and hardworking at what she does. So she's been a great asset to our district for a number of years.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of elementary special education teacher Jeanette Anderson, effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We're just going to skip the next one. We're going right to administrative reports.
At least they didn't do it in the same month. So Mike and Rick started their principalships at the same time. They happen to be the same age, and they're going out at the same time. So Mike, his retirement letter is there. I'm going to give him an opportunity to share a little bit with you guys. You all know it's coming, so I'll let Mike chat a little bit.
Yeah, so, wow, you look back when you started doing this back in the early 90s, and you're like, oh, that's forever away, and then now it's here all of a sudden. But certainly want to thank the board. It's been a pleasure. You've supported me in kind of the initiatives that you want to put in place. You guys have always been helping, supporting, challenging in terms of questioning, wanting to know. I appreciate all of that. I feel like this is one of those jobs where there's always something to do the next day, and you got to try to find that time where it can stand up on its own a little bit, and we've made some really great choices and decisions over there, and the school's running really well. And I think that it's a really good time to pass that on to someone that can maybe take it to the next, hopefully take it to the next level and make the community proud. Obviously, certainly thanking Rick and David. It's been a ball working with these two. Dave Lane as well. It's just been, and we've had some really tough times, and that if that that I know Rick and I. COVID was tough for everybody, and but we got through that, and the way that the three of us work together, and Josh, the four of us work together, it's just a lot of fun. I think the camaraderie is real, but then the focus on students is even more real, and I've always enjoyed that. I feel like I've learned so much about the world of education, and feel like I've shared that with a variety of positions in my career. Everything has been really a challenge and fun, I said in my letter, I've not regretted a single day of this. But now, I'm looking forward to really spending a lot of time with my sons, traveling and doing some fun things, and Carrie and I doing our thing, get back to actually having our summers together again, for a while, and then, just get on with being outdoors and doing the fun stuff I love to do.
I'll share one last piece, and throughout the capital improvements and the massive amount of work that happened at the elementary school, there were multiple days that I'm sure that if my step count was higher than Mike's, it was only because his legs are so much longer, and he was, the amount of steps and everything he was putting in, the sweat and the long days of moving stuff around and working on things, just working with him in that environment. It was one day, I believe, after we had spent probably 3 or 4 hours stripping paint off of a wall, we left the elementary school and jumped in my truck, and we're driving away, and I said, Mike, I said, I've said this to a few people in my career, but you're one of these guys that it doesn't matter what I was, thrown into, I'd want you on my team to be there, because step up, do anything, anytime, for the good of the cause. And I say that all the time, but for the good of the cause, whatever needed to be done for the good of an organization. And Mike just exemplifies that, and will truly be missed in his role here. So thank you for that, Mike.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of elementary principal Mike Johnson effective June 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mike. Moving on to administrative reports, we'll start out with Mr. Chaplin.
Thanks, Julie. So the first one on there is Child Development Day and 4K registration. The 4K teachers, Mike, Terry, and I had a meeting to start planning the Child Development Day and 4K registration. If you remember, so special education serves students age 3 that may have a disability, and because they're not in school, we're required to do some activities to help find those students. And our Child Development Day is one of those things that we do, and it's been paired with 4K registration for the last few years, just because sometimes we have overlap with those students. So this year's event is going to be Friday, February 7th, from 8 to 12:30, and we have it out in community, and we have gotten some appointments from parents, and the paperwork for all that has gone out, and then the paperwork for 4K registration has gone out as well, and the parents can drop that stuff off with Terry in the elementary office that day as well. And then the second part would be the second Friday in January count. So not sure why special ed has different count days than general ed, but if you remember in the fall, there's an October 1 count versus the third Friday of gen ed. And so second Friday in January is the second special ed count. And so we're up 3 from October and serving the same amount of students with 504 plans and the same amount of students at St. Paul's. And we have some 4, and actually it's more than that now, as of today, special education referrals at this time. So those would be new students.
Any questions for Mr. Chaplin? Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Julie. One thing I don't have it on my agenda, but certainly the Childhood Development Day, just the number of people it takes I think we've really worked over the last couple of years to market it more. We had a really good turnout last year. We've made some adjustments this year to even that marketing side of it to help find us. And just Josh and Gene and Terry and the 4K team and everybody just, we've had planning meetings in order to get this right so that our families have a really good experience. And I think just thanking the people that are all involved with this, because it takes this takes a village to find all of our kids. It's different today than it had been historically on how we find our 4K students. So based on some of the marketing and some of the informative information pieces going out, we're getting I think we got another 4K kid today that we didn't know we had in the community, and it's in like 1 or 2 or 3 every day, it seems like, since we started sending stuff out. So I just think that'll continue, and I appreciate all the work that people have done. As far as the music adjustments go, I just wanted to thank Paul. He's just really just a great guy and a young, super talented teacher, and I wish him the best over here. And then to bring Abby on, another young teacher, just talking to, it was funny when I think it was 4 years ago, I was looking for a music teacher when Piper went up north, and I think Kimmy was at Eagle Bluff and said, I think we have a music student teacher over there. And I ended up calling over there and then finding and talking to Paul, and he's like, well, I don't really think I was going to apply for anything this year. And I'm like, well, how about you apply here? And here we are, and then getting back in touch with Katie, his cooperating teacher, and just the confident and supportive statements that she had to make about Abby and her skill set just really makes me feel like the elementary we're losing Paul, but we're filling that with a very capable young lady. And I look forward to supporting her through this process, and then seeing what she can do, and just reinforcing that I want her to be her. I don't need her to be Paul type thing. And I think that the community has to realize that too, and I hope that they support, and I know they will, but give her opportunity as they go. Pilot update. So we're working on a pilot for our literacy resources. They're about 10 years old, and there's some changes in the state law, which I shared earlier in the year, but we're going to have some training on Monday in the morning, and then staff is continuing to work. They've been working for about a month on getting to know these resources, these literacy resources. I have shared with parents that there would be a little bit of a shift or a change with that, so there's no surprises. But we're on track to, for the most part in our school, everybody will start that pilot process on the 27th of January. So looking forward to that. The screeners for the Act 20, I will, again, a shout out to my team of people that are, and it's really my staff, the whole school, but Melissa and Diane over there at the elementary just doing their work. The number of school districts that have reached out to myself, out to Melissa and Diane about how we're surviving Act 20 constraints. And, I had the privilege the other day, I was out for dinner with some friends and educators, and my friend was like, all right, just 2-minute conversation about how Act 20 is going. And I just said, good. And, they're pulling their hair out because they didn't do what we did in the fall. They didn't make a test run, and because we didn't have to do it, we chose to figure it out, do it, test it, get our feet underneath us, so that when it matters. And we were done with we have worked together to make a plan. We are executing that plan to the T, and you can see the teachers are comfortable with it. The students are doing great, and we've had students grow a lot, and some continue to grow. So I just want to shout out about the Act 20 and the requirements it's putting on our building and our district, but the school is doing really, really well with that. And then Riverbank donation. Stopped by today, gave us a check for $500 towards our backpack program, and then dropped off, several pounds and pounds of food to put into the kids' backpacks. So they brought that over today. Just wanted to thank Riverbank for their efforts. It's over the holiday season that the spirit of giving and kind of made it way this way. So we'll take the money that we use for that, just so you guys know. We had some other donations from Knights of Columbus and all of that throughout, but we've been, Steph Steiner has been running to, whether it's Hanson's or whatnot, to get some fresh food, fresh fruit, oranges, apples, that kind of stuff to send home with the kids, because everything else is in cans and bags and everything else. So just a really nice twist to get some fresh stuff in there.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson? Thank you. Mr. Mullenberg?
Thank you, Julie. A couple of thank yous I would like to share. The donation from First National Bank here in Bangor for the wheel changer and balancer. I don't know if any of you saw it, but it was, the news came out, did a great story on that. It is getting a lot of use, and it's interesting because I hear kids talking about it, and you have to use a torque wrench, because if you do this and then you do that, the brakes are going to, they're learning a lot. And as if you saw what Adam said, when the kids come back and talk about when they've had to do that and when they've changed it. So thank you to First National Bank for that donation. Is being put to good use, and our students are learning. Secondly, something I just slipped my mind to share. I have, through a friend of mine, put in contact with the vice president of a shoe company over a year ago, who had asked me if he could send shoes here to give away to students. And I said, well, certainly, of course you can. So about 4 or 5 times per year, all of a sudden I'll get there's 4 or 5 large boxes of shoes coming your way. So this last week, I think, to the middle school, we gave out over 20 pairs there, and then some to the high school this week as well. We had mostly girls and women's that came in this last time. You never know what's going to show up. So they are either discontinued shoes, or they were ones that were display models, or they were lightly used in returns. So it's pretty neat. I've never met the person in person. We've communicated back and forth, and then ones that students won't take, I can then offer to staff, so I've done that. And then after that, if they're left, he allows me to donate them to either Good Steward or Salvation Army. Because I asked him, is that okay? And he goes, oh, that's awesome. That's excellent to be able to do that. So I think in the last year, I've probably given out close to 60 pairs of shoes, and probably 40 to 45 pairs of those were absolutely brand new. It's a higher end company. Typically the values are anywhere from $110 to $260 retail. So they're not necessarily a brand that students would go out and shop for. So sometimes they're like, nah, I don't want them. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to force them on you. So, but I just wanted to say, I want to thank them. He asked that I didn't share his name. He doesn't want any publicity, and he doesn't want it for his company. And he lives in Colorado, so I don't think he's watching. But he just said, please keep me out of this. I want to continue to do good things. So I also let him know that I'm retiring, but I can also be the liaison to continue this in the future. Once in a while, coats will show up in there. I mean, hiking boots and things. So just very appreciative of that. One last thing that wasn't on there that David deleted again, I think, was we finished our middle school map testing, and we run our interventions up to the 35th percentile. Happy to say that the gains that our staff was able to get out of our students in the regular ed classroom in math and reading, and then also in our interventions, they did so well we won't be running one of the interventions. Our 7th grade math, none of the kids qualify. I mean, they're all above where our benchmark is for them. So just the outstanding work that our classroom teachers and our interventionists are doing. I want to give a shout out to them for their hard work.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Mullenberg? Thank you. Dr. Brackup?
If I deleted something, it's because he is so far ahead of everybody else that I thought it was still from last month. So I apologize, Rick, if I deleted something. So I have 4 quick ones on here. One of the policies that we just went through talked about international travel using a reputable travel company. Our Spanish trip that is scheduled for this summer is doing exactly that. We have 7 kids that are planning on going on that Spanish trip. And the other piece that added in was just paying attention to travel advisories. And right now, checking in, we still everything looks good for that trip. So I just felt as I went through that policy and read that, it would be good to give you guys an update on how many kids were going and, that everything still looks really good for that. They've had some fundraising events. I know they're going to have a few more. It's going to be a neat opportunity for those kids. Odyssey of the Mind state competition. So we, I believe, have 7 teams from the district that are competing in Odyssey of the Mind. Deb has been working with Odyssey of the Mind at the state level and has not got a solid commitment, but we're thinking there's somewhere right around 12 total teams in the state. And some of them are very close to us at the next exit down towards La Crosse. So we had some conversations. A few of them are in Eau Claire. And we have agreed to host the state competition here in Bangor. So we're going to use this facility as the area for families and participants to kind of hang out, have concessions going, all those types of things. We'll divide the gym into 2 different performance areas here, and we'll have a performance area in the elementary gym, and then a few classrooms and spaces for the spontaneous and those other types of activities, judges lounge and all those types of things. We really feel like even the trek between buildings, so long as it's not raining, is not as far as it is walking through some of those MATC type buildings in Madison. So we're looking forward to it. As Deb and I have talked, the organization in general is not real formal, so I don't have any formal agreements or anything like that, but as of right now, that is the plan. That would be March 22nd and will take place in both those 2 buildings. So the 21st in the evening that night, which there's no events, we'll be able to set a few things up, and then it'll be ready to go for the 22nd, and we'll show off our facilities and host that competition for the state level. So we'll be looking for some volunteers to help with that event as well. Late ad. So just last night, standing here talking at the basketball game, Merlin came up and was chatting with me. They were 1 game short on their schedule, had a change, and in the last week have been able to align or get another game with Somerset. It's a weekend that I believe that they're at Royal on Friday night. They're going to travel to Marshfield on Saturday and play Marshfield, and then they were going to a tournament in they're in Lodi on Thursday night, or I apologize. They're in Royal on Thursday night, going Friday night to Marshfield, going to go to Eau Claire, spend the night, and then Saturday go to Somerset and play a game up there. So they're playing 3 games in a row in a pretty tight window, playing some good competition in those teams, and they were able to get this all worked out. I do have in there just for next month's approval, because it was too late when I got it last night to add it to this agenda. Their team, their fundraising, all of the grilling that Merlin does and his parents do, selling at football games and track meets, will pay for the overnight stay and meals and those types of things. So I'm going to go ahead and approve that because it is January 31st and February 1st. But I just wanted to let you know it would be on the consent agenda in February. If there's any questions on that, please let me know. Last but not least, State Education Convention in Milwaukee is next week. Julie and I will both be making the trek down to Milwaukee. Looking forward to a conference. Looks like some really good keynotes and a lot of great breakout sessions. So looking forward to that next week, Wednesday through Friday.
Any questions for Dr. Bracco? Thank you. All right, removal of items from the consent agenda. Consent agenda has current openings, FFA recurring overnight field trip request, revocation of open enrollment, the 25-26 open enrollment caps. There's a, in your packet, discusses that. And then the WIAA co-op sports agreement as listed there for 2025-2027.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Who was that, Joni? Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Tina? Motion made by Joni, seconded by Tina. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, everyone.